In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show today, coming to you from our Dual City Studios in Texas, USA. Just ahead, our story of the week about oil prices at the pump. Plus, our recalls of the week, and later, Jeff has his Motor Minute, and I'll review the 2026 Subaru Uncharted EV. What? Yeah, it's all brand new stuff. I think that you'll enjoy the review. It's all coming up in this segment of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars. He's over
on the right side of Texas.
Yeah, somewhere over there. We always need more Jeff
Which is
Zekin.
right here.
David Ainsley is nowhere to be found. He was earlier. He was on the road.
He was evading the law.
Arrest.
Yeah.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us for this Saturday's live show. It's always great to have you with us. We're back in the studio. We've been gone, I guess, for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah.
And then a week back and then a week out.
And by the way, I want to say that the tailpipes and tacos thing, remember it was supposed to rain last Saturday?
Well, yeah.
And it didn't. And the event turned out to be great. The parking lot wasn't overfilled, but it was filled to the max.
Right.
All the parking spaces had cars in it. It was great. So if you're listening and you were there last weekend, thank you very much for showing up. It was a great event. The Easter Bunny made his appearance. And lots of kids with the kids' cars, the pedal cars.
A giant colored egg walking around.
Yeah.
Great.
And don't forget the Easter Bunny.
Easter Bunny was there.
Yeah. So it's all very good. And thank you very much for showing up. I guess our next remote, Mr. Mars, is going to be up in Granbury.
It is. We've got a couple maybe come in between now and then, but we're still negotiating on that. But Granbury is our next target.
That's good, yeah. That's the Lone Star Street Rod Association event up in Granbury.
And that's a good point. So if you're out there listening and you do have an event and you need us to show up, give Mike a call. Reach out to Mike and he'll set it up and we'll be there.
Yeah, and if you don't want to talk to him, and I don't blame you, then just
email
mars@inwheeltime.com.
Yeah,
By the way, you sent it to Mike at InWheelTime.
Send it to Mike at InWheelTime.
No, but there is no Mike at InWheelTime. It is Mars.
Mars, okay. Well, we didn't tell him, but we changed
I
his
think
name.
I think that Mars has fixed that now, so he will now get that.
Okay. See, when I plug it in my computer, I just hit M and it pops up, so I don't even pay attention.
Of course not.
No.
It's all good.
What?
Hello?
Okay. So
Squirrel?
Are you guys ready? Squirrel? You guys ready for the story of the week? This is
Yes,
from
sir.
Automotive News, and I thought, you know what? We've really never talked about the crisis in Iran when it comes to the oil. And oil, of course, turns into gasoline once they refine it. So oil prices dropped April 8th after President Trump announced a ceasefire with Iran, but the national average price of gasoline remained above $4 a gallon, according to AAA. As that dichotomy illustrates, while the price of crude oil and gasoline are closely linked, there is more to the story than a one-on-one relationship. A complex give and takes between supply and demand, politics, supply chain, geography, and other factors determines what consumers pay at the pump. Drivers are still adapting to a more than 20% increase in the price of gas from 1 month ago, according to data from AAA. Iran's chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz drove the price hike. Daily traffic through the strait normally carries more than 20% of global oil and liquefied natural gas. After the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran on February 28th, Iran blocked tankers from proceeding through, driving up the price of oil and other commodities. So here's how the disruption influenced the price of gas. Crude oil is raw, unprocessed, liquid petroleum pumped out of the ground at oil wells. The primary ingredient is crude oil. It's microscopic marine organisms that captured sunlight via photosynthesis. And if it's too deep for you, then you can look all that up. There are two main components that drive global oil prices. There's a fellow named Maxim Sonnen who works with Stanford University's Center for Fuels of the Future. The first is a fundamental supply and demand balance. How much oil are institutions producing and how much oil are people consuming? The U.S. and OPEC are two significant influences because they produce the bulk of the world's oil supply. Geopolitical events and weather can also impact the global supply. The U.S. uses two main benchmarks. Brent crude is the global standard, and West Texas Intermediate is the main U.S. benchmark. So why do different gas stations have different prices? The price of crude oil makes up about 50% of the price of gasoline. Areas of the country are starting with different crude prices that vary based on the benchmark. Another quarter of the price of gas is determined by the cost of refining it. Refining costs different amounts in different states. California has strict environmental requirements that cost more. The stringency of the regulations there has prompted oil companies to idle refineries over the past couple of years. People are sick and tired of trying to deal with the Californians, according to Eric Smith, Associate Director of Tulane Energy Institute. They're the single biggest source of heavy oil in the United States, and they don't want to produce it. The remainder of the cost to consumers is determined by federal and state taxes, distribution, marketing, and retail. This further explains why different states and even different gas stations within the same area have different prices. Alaska has the lowest gas tax at about 9 cents a gallon.
Wow.
California has the highest at about 71 cents per gallon. In response to the higher gas prices because of the war, the EPA is waiving the summer fuel requirement temporarily. When will gas prices come down? Even if the ceasefire turns into a long-term peace, the price of gasoline will likely remain high. It takes about a month for crude oil to become gasoline, assuming the oil is not shuttled into storage, such as our Strategic Petroleum Reserve, according to Smith. Plus, the logistics of oil production, much like those governing the auto industry, take a while to unwind and start back up. The adrenaline, that part of the price of crude, also needs to settle, Sonnen said. The market will wait to see how the disruption has practically impacted the fundamentals of supply and demand. After the gas price shock driven by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, it took about 10 months for prices to return to pre-war levels. There's so many factors involved. Granted, the Strait of Hormuz is a big, ugly thing that does affect the price of gasoline globally. It's only 20% as far as the amount that is used globally, but
20% that we use.
20% globally that comes through the Strait of Hormuz. That's the global oil supply is 20% that comes through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, we don't use any of that oil per se here. It's the rest of the world that gets more of the impact coming through there.
But we also use global oil supply anyway. One way or the other. It doesn't necessarily have to turn into gasoline.
No, but it's the market. Like you say, you're right. The global market, regardless of who's using it, that's what drives it.
Correct. And remember, oil makes up stuff that you wouldn't even believe. Did you know that the oil that comes out of the ground, parts of that actually go into women's makeup or men's makeup if you're so inclined. But there are so many different things. Plastics, oil. There is and I learned this through narrations and stuff that I've done in the past. There are these things called pellets that refineries make, and they're turned into all sorts of things. Let's just take a milk jug. You know how thin a milk jug is. You know the color of it. Well, those pellets are about that color. So I don't know how many pellets it takes to make a milk jug, but a milk jug is made from oil. So all of this stuff is combined, and yes, it all affects the price of gasoline. How much is readily available as far as petroleum products is available in the marketplace? If there's not a lot of available, oil refiners are going to make more of it. Some of the supply of the oil that's used to take that will also be used to make gasoline. So that's where you get these variations in gasoline prices. It's a very general oversight on my part. I understand that.
You also use oil in cooking.
Yes, you do.
Well, but
And
It is
cooking today, a lot of it is vegetable oil, but yes.
But like you say, the general oversight you're talking about is really how it works because they're looking at the global market. We don't have, per se, literally in our refineries and in the storage tanks, there's not a shortage of oil. But the world supply, that 20% that goes to Europe and all them, like you said, that's what's impacting it. So everybody looks at it and says, oh, the world needs to go up in prices on oil. You know, it doesn't really get down to our local anymore.
Well, at the beginning of the story, he said OPEC. OPEC is part of it as well. Now, back in the 70s when we had to downsize our vehicles is because OPEC was in charge.
Gosh, you remember that nightmare?
We weren't drilling on our own backyard, so we were Dependent, yes. Or we were slave to the OPEC decisions, and that's why we went to the oil crisis. Gas
Right, and
Wednesday and all that other stuff. So
absolutely, and yes, we now export some oil,
exactly,
and we could do more if we really chose to, but we don't.
What's ever happened to the Canadian pipeline that Biden shut
it's
down?
still there. Oh, no, the one that he didn't build or they didn't build.
Well, it was built mostly.
I actually have a friend of mine that was in a band that I play with. He was actually on that project. He's up in Alaska now. He's living up there because he was started doing that pipeline from Canada through the Dakotas and all that area. And then that was all shuttered, so he moved to Alaska to actually work on other pipelines. Great guy, fantastic musician, great voice, but that's what he does now.
And he's probably making a lot more money than he is by playing in the band.
Yeah. Well, no, he was doing other stuff. The band was the style. Come on. You don't make money in a band. You know that.
Yes. Well, I don't. You do.
I do.
Yeah. So I guess that the bottom line is that hang tight. Mm-hmm. Yes, the price of gas. Oh, my God, premium gasoline for the Corvette. Now, I don't have to put premium gas in the Corvette. It'll retard the timing and back off of the horsepower and all that sort of stuff automatically through its computer. But price of premium gasoline, $5 and something a
We
gallon.
need to reach out to Jack Nerad out in
yeah, we haven't talked to him in a while. Have you talked to him, Mark?
He's been traveling and stuff. I think he's going to be on the 18th. I think it's that's next week. He'll be here.
Okay,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Well, it's time.
We'll send him gas money.
Yeah, he definitely needs that. He needs to come to Texas, actually.
He does. He's got a daughter that lives in
Well,
Dallas.
but he doesn't live.
Well, she don't live here anymore. She's there. That's where he's been for the last couple of weeks up in Northern California, where she is. You know, she's more important than us for some
She went to
reason.
school here, I think.
Yes,
Okay.
Oh, she graduated.
graduated, got
Better
married,
drop
and
She got married too?
yeah.
Because she got married, but she was going to school. Yeah. Well, we'll find out next week.
All right. Well, at any rate, to wrap this up, it's very easy for somebody to say, oh, Strait of Hormuz, that's the big problem. Well, it's part of the problem, but it's not the problem. Mm-hmm. And I think that the answer is going to be, hopefully, this weekend, when our vice president is supposedly, I think today, meeting with all of the people that are important, that have a say in all of this, that they're going to finally put a cap on all of it and say, okay, we'll do it this way. And that, I think, will stabilize a lot of things.
We should have done a remote from here.
Where's that?
In wherever they're meeting.
Oh,
Pakistan.
I think it's Pakistan. Yeah.
Well, okay.
I'm not sure what kind of connections they have over there, but yeah, okay.
Well, they talk funny.
I noticed with they're showing how all the dignitaries were going in there. There's a lot of motorcycles. There's a lot of like Honda 170s over there that they all
I was
ride
thinking
around.
more along the lines of Honda 50s.
They probably have some of those too, but they're just small little motorcycles
Well,
that they ride around.
I was looking, and there's a whole lot of them over there, but there's one brand that's they're trying to come into America, but they can't get past the crash test, but they use them for taxis. They have the long seats on them.
Yeah,
They're actually motorcycle taxis.
Yeah, they have people hanging off them. Like the
Yeah.
trains.
Sometimes
You
3
got
or 4.
15 people on a motorcycle.
Well, they took that idea for Vegas, and now it's a pedal bar where you pedal. Everybody pedals, and the
Hell
bar
no,
rolls
I'm
down
not
the street.
peddling anything if I'm drinking.
I'm not
Mars,
Yes, sir.
Mars, I could see you on one of those.
I was looking at them. No, I was looking at like, oh, pedal bar. That's too much work.
That's what I'm saying.
Not if you're steering.
Yeah, you're just steering.
Yep.
Built for two.
After you've been drinking half the day. And so you just steer.
Well, you know, you cannot drink all day if you don't start in the morning. That's all I can tell you.
See? Yeah, you know, you've brought something to the table here that I think is worth discussion at another time. What do you think?
I think so. Like 5 o'clock this afternoon, maybe?
Or the boats in San Antonio on the Riverwalk. I believe you can have a cocktail on there.
Oh, yeah. You can. But you can't drive it.
No, they don't let you drive it.
Can you imagine something like that? I think they should actually have some sort of motorboat races on the
that wouldn't be
on the river.
But they do tell stories of all the people that fall in during certain events, like the lighting ceremonies and things. Well, 32 people fell in the river this morning.
By the way, what are we doing for Cinco de Mayo, Mars?
Cinco de Mayo?
Yes. You familiar with that?
Well, I am, but I hadn't thought of it, to be honest.
Well, it's coming up, Mike. Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have tacos and margaritas.
I think it's a great idea. So we're going to call and get Stan and Chase to have a separate room just for us. We'll do the broadcast from back there.
They usually do.
No. We're in the hidden back room.
Well, that's,
the one with the padding on the walls.
Yeah. Right. And we'll get Steve Woodard, Sergeant Woodard with DPS to come, and
he'll be the bartender.
He'll be the bartender, and he'll also be the one giving drunk tests.
Citations.
Yeah, citations. And then we'll get on the pedal bus powered by Mars.
There you go.
All right. Just ahead, Jeff's Motor Minute and a review of the new Subaru Uncharted. When the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this. Stay with us. The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. Apple or Android, In-Wheel Time podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and jonesing for a different kind of car talk show, give In-Wheel Time a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture and Mike's Driving Destinations, all on In-Wheel Time. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon, through Amazon Music. InWheelTime.com has a list, and we know you love lists.
I'll tell you.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show, and all I can tell you is what is
I don't know what he's doing. There you go.
Okay, he's on the phone, and he shouldn't be. We shouldn't be seeing him.
There you
Thank
go.
You. Anyway, so we understand that we're kind of low on volume here and there around the globe, but we've tried to fix that, and you just let us know if it's still
Crank it up.
Crank it up. If
There
it's,
you
if
go.
it's still too low. All right, time now for Jeff's Motor Minute here on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
There's a big event going on today in Houston. It's called the Houston Art Car Parade.
Yeah.
This thing originated in 1984 with a fruit mobile. Now, what this does, it's for charity, and there's all kinds of things going on. The artists and individuals founded by artist Jackie Harris, promoted supporters like Ann. I can't pronounce her last name. Right there.
Ann Herethos.
There you go. Thanks, Ann. Anyways, it's a big event. It's been going on for quite some time, since 1984, like I said. So get out there. It's
You ever been?
I think we went once early on. Don't
I had a great
remember.
time.
Yeah.
It goes up and down Allen Parkway.
Right. It goes up.
It goes into downtown, then makes a U-turn, goes
Yeah,
back.
it's very cool, and the whole point of it is to get the community involved, and it's art for the art people. What do you call that? Art classes, art class in Houston, the artsy people. So go out
Artsy
there.
fartsy
There you
people.
go, and that's what's going on in Houston. So check it out if you're in town.
And it's also going to be on Channel 13.
Channel 13's covering it. I think it's at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Don't get me
Noon
lying.
to
I
2ish.
don't know.
Get out there, get a good spot. And another thing for today. Today is Fireman Jack's birthday.
Fireman Jack.
But there's no event. They're
Every
fallen
day's an
on-
event for Fireman Jack.
I saw it on Facebook. So happy birthday, Fireman Jack.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Thank you. Time now for this hour's car review. I had an opportunity to drive something that's all new. All new. And it's the 2026 Subaru Uncharted. And you're thinking, well, heck, that looks pretty darn good. And it does. So it comes in these trim levels: Premium, Sport, and GT. I had the middle trim level, the Sport, and it was orange like that. It is considered a subcompact SUV, about the size of the Crosstrek. Seats, including the driver, 5. All new for this year, as I mentioned. Best looking vehicle for its size, period, according to Don Armstrong. I really like it. Front fascia, clean design, doesn't look EV-ish, which is a big thing for me. Why do they have to have EV cars look different than the rest of them? Granted, you don't have to have a big opening in the front for cooling the radiator. It's not moving.
Yes.
But, pardon?
It's moving.
It's moving. Okay. But this one, it does have kind of a grill-like thing. It's an air intake, but good. They put it in the front like it's supposed to be. The fastback rear hatch gives it a sports car look. The rear door handle is disguised in the C-pillar. What I liked, just the right proportions of curves that will give it extra appeal, in my opinion. What could use improvement? Nothing. Don't touch it. I think they've got a home run here. Granted, it is a small SUV. Interior highlights: dual horizontal phone chargers are superb. Yes, dual. So you can see part of it right up there. You can put 2 phones up there, one for you and one for your passenger. Isn't that nice? Huge screen on the center dash is easy to read and use. Comfortable seating, but rear legroom is a bit tight. As you can imagine, this is a subcompact. Steering wheel controls are kind of hard to read, but I've got old, tired eyes, so don't blame it on Subaru, blame it on me. As far as cargo, it's tight in the back, especially with its fastback design. So you give up a little bit of room back there in the back, but I'll tell you what, I like the whole thing. What I liked about it back there, the dial gear shift on the center console is handy, but why not use a stock style shifter on the column that would save the center console space for something else? Just saying. To me, this gets an Urban Vehicle Award. It is awesome. Engine is a 3.47 kilowatt hour high capacity lithium battery that has, drum roll please, 338 horsepower. Dude, that's a lot. It's direct drive, dual motor, front or all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive obviously is an option. Well, it got 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour over 481 miles. Now, I charged it both at home and at work, and obviously you have to charge it because it's strictly an EV, nothing but electricity there. What I liked about it, plenty of power. What could use improvement? The range, 287 miles. Now, I've got another EV that I'm driving. It'll be the third one in a row that I'm driving now. And it also, different size vehicle, but it also has 287 miles of range on it. I think that that's just kind of like, oh, well, we'll just throw it 287.
Like the cafe standard type.
Yeah,
in that
but
relation.
287 miles, but it depends on how you drive. Do you floor it a lot? Do you drive it at high speed a lot? It ain't going to do 287 miles. But for an urban vehicle, which this is classified as, in my opinion, 287-mile range should be enough for you to get around town in 1 day of driving.
Yep.
1 days.
1 days.
Not 2 days, but 1 days.
1 days.
Ride and handling, 8 inches of ground clearance gives it a true off-road look. Ride and handling, smooth ride for such a short wheelbase EV. What could use improvement? Nothing. Okay, here comes the pricing. You ready? Base trim price. Now, I had the sport model, which is middle of the road, $39,795. Price is tested, $41,720 because of some extra options on it. Base model price you can get in this vehicle, $34,995 is where it starts.
Wow.
Excluding tax, title, and license. Competitors, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Tesla Model Y, and the Mustang Mach-E. Next week, I'm going to review the Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid electric. And here's what I want to tell you about that. This is the first vehicle that I've actually made it an effort to plug it in because it's got a gasoline motor.
Yeah.
And so you plug it in, and it's going to give you, I don't know, 40, 50 miles
about
on
50,
the battery.
55 miles, yeah.
Yeah. So I've plugged it in, and I think that you're going to be surprised by what I have found by plugging it in. This one out here is a true EV, so it has to be plugged in.
So the plug-in hybrid, that is the same relation as having a donut spare, because the donut spare tire only goes about 50, 60, maybe 70 miles. So the hybrid plug-in is basically the donut spare for the car.
But oh my gosh, what a difference it makes in the gasoline total calculations.
Yeah, gives you higher mileage.
Whew. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know why. I have not done it in the past because it's a pain. But I've got the pain worked out. I charge it at work, and then I charge it here at the house.
Gotcha.
So I've run an extension cord. And by golly, it works. So there's that. All righty then. If you'd like to get in touch with us, send us an email. The address here is info@nwheeltime.com. Now, if you want to, you can harass Mike Mars by sending it to mars@nwheeltime.com. Just saying.
Just see what he's up to.
Yeah. The N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Stay with us. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Gift giving should be meaningful, and we have an idea. A hand-painted custom illustration of your car from one of the nation's leading artists. You've seen his work at car shows and on display at the Hemi Hideout. Now you can have an illustration or car poster customized for you, a friend, or loved one. Bill Seitz is a real car guy that speaks the language and will be happy to guide you through the process. No matter what the day, birthday, anniversary, or any day, an Autographics custom illustration adds an extra touch of class to any home. Call Bill today, 832-922-0963. That's 832-922-0963. It's the award-winning N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, are closed EV manufacturing plants ruining the cities where they're located? Think about that. Later, Jeff has the racing calendar, Mars has This Week in Auto History, and I'll have the stories making automotive news headlines. That's all coming up. Howdy and good morning to you, along with Mike, Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Chief Engineer David Ainsley, he's listening. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us today. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Do we have our guest, Mr. Mars?
Yes, sir, we do.
And his name, his name is Sundaresh Haragu. And Sundaresh has been with us before. He is a professor at Oklahoma State University, and he is also the president of the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers.
Awesome.
And the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
He's got all these wonderful titles, and well-deserved, I might add. But I can tell you that this guy is way smarter than you and me and all of us combined.
Combined, yeah.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I don't know about this being smarter than you guys, so we'll leave it there.
Well, listen, you're not in the broadcasting business, so that right there makes you smarter
You're
than
qualified.
us. How about that? But we'll just leave it at that. Well, it's great to have you with us again. We love talking to you. So our subject today is EV factory locations, turning portions of cities into desert wastelands. And, I have to tell you that when I first started thinking about that, I thought, I haven't thought about that. Because here in Houston, when a business closes, there's something, generally speaking, that moves right in and fills the space.
Yep.
But these businesses for EV manufacturing, batteries, assembly plants, all of the storage that has to go in to thinking about building an EV, it's really a lot different than building an engine, internal combustion engine. It doesn't take as many parts. It's a different setup because now you're dealing with electric motors and all of the things that go along with electric motors. Yes, the car part of it, that's the simple part. But to me, all of the computers and all of the electric motors, the electronics of an EV, completely different, really, than an ICE engine, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the longer oil and gas prices stay at this level, yes, for a while I think we're going to see all these abandoned factories or investments not fully completed. But the manufacturing lines of an EV are different than what you would see for an internal combustion engine. But going back, Don, to your comment about these factories that could be an eyesore, I think it's a matter of time. If gas prices stay at this level for an extended period, you can see other companies from other countries perhaps wanting to utilize that infrastructure, that space, and begin producing EVs. And maybe the big three will jump in as well. I know most recently, I think they've disinvested, I think about $50 billion, the big three combined, in EVs. But I'm thinking it's a short-term thing. I think EVs are the future, autonomous vehicles are the future. So when I see big companies kind of shelving their projects, I wonder if it is short-sighted.
Well, that's certainly a very good point to make. And the fact that you had mentioned that other foreign companies are going to come in and fill the roles, and you and I both know that China is about to jump on all of this. They've already announced that they're going to be taking over factories that are idle right now over in Canada, and it's only a matter of time before they start invading us. And there are multiple facets involved in that, but this is huge competition for established automobile makers here in the United States, whether they're brought in from BMW Germany, a Subaru from Japan, or the American car makers, because I have seen a Chinese-made vehicle, and let me tell you something, the quality is extremely high, and I think that it is going to be a real market change to everybody when you see these. For instance, BYD is kind of like the General Motors, if you will, of China.
Right.
When you see these vehicles, you're going to go, oh my gosh, this wasn't even thought of here in the United States. This goes back to Maybach and all the high-end builders from back in the day.
Well,
it's here today.
Well, you talked about Canada with relations to China. That was actually announced that they have trade deals. That was a few months ago,
Yes.
maybe even late last year, that they're announcing trade deals. And the United States opinion of that was, make trade deals whoever you want, just make sure they're good trade deals. So that was all part of that, taking over all of the abandoned or idle factories.
Yeah. And I will tell you that it seems to me, now I don't really know, I'm just guessing, that some of these battery manufacturing companies, LG for instance, that they may have backed out of actual factory that they were building for the time being. But that is a major manufacturer of electronics, as we all know. I can't imagine that that thing is going to sit idle. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of square feet that these buildings take.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Let's just talk a little bit about BYD. BYD's got sales, exploding, I think, all over the world. Countries like Brazil, India, Mexico. Of course, in India, companies like Mahindra and Tata are introducing a number of EVs. Mind you, the charging infrastructure is not as good as it needs to be there, but still the EV sales are exploding. Go to places like Manila, Europe, Norway, for example, right? They produce so much oil and gas, but still the government offers incentives for EV sales. You have better deals on the tollways and all that. And so I think, 60-70% of their new car sales are EVs. A country like Nepal, right? 70% of their new car sales in 2024. I don't have the data for 2025, but in 2024 they were EVs, right? So that's what is happening all over the world. Yes, LG may be pausing its investment here in the US, but they're not doing that in other places. And the other thing too that you touched upon, Don, is the trade deals that Canada and China have. I mean, a lot of the trade relationships have been unwound since Liberation Day about a year ago.
Yes.
A lot of supply chains are being reimagined, being redesigned, being redeployed. It's still in a state of flux, but I think many countries are beginning to realize you can't just kind of be dependent on one lucrative large market that is the US, especially when the tariff situation keeps changing, and now we have the oil price and I guess essentially a closure of the Strait of Hormuz. So yes, countries like India that depend on LPG, LNG for cooking gas, but also for their three-wheel taxis, the auto rickshaws. That supply is hit, so they're all figuring out EVs are the way to go. So a lot of scooters, three-wheelers are also being produced in the EV mode rather than ICE.
It's interesting that you should say scooters because we see these here in the United States. That was a huge Christmas gift this past year here in the U.S. And these kids are doing 50 miles an hour on a scooter. I'm going, do you have any idea what that's going to do to your knees when you fall? Because I know for a fact that it hurts really bad as a kid, but live and learn. I want to go back to desert wastelands, and that's what we're kind of focusing in on these big plants that either EV related, supporting, or manufacturing EVs that they've all kind of pulled back for the time being, as you mentioned. But, desert wastelands for cars of any kind are not something new because, and I'm going to use Stellantis as somebody that manages to close plants and not reopen them, say they're going to reopen them, they get close to reopening them, and they don't. There's one in the southern end of Wisconsin, right there, the northern Illinois, and that has been, they've manufactured all sorts of stuff since the 1960s, and the plant is massive. Car manufacturing plants are just big anyway. And this particular plant, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, this particular plant, I'll think of it in a minute. This particular plant is still closed. It's been closed now for almost 10 years. What it does to the population and all of those people that it employs, that's really, to me, where the desert wasteland comes in, because what are those people going to do? They know how to build a car, but they don't have another manufacturing plant nearby they can pick up and move or find other work. But These industrial cities are based on large employment figures. And what do you do when the plant closes? It's the only thing in town. It's tough.
Yeah, and to that point, to Don's point, what about the Packard plant in Detroit? 3.5 million square feet. It's still it's abandoned. They've actually made movies in that facility. They did a couple of Batman movies and apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic,
there you
yes,
go.
yeah.
That one. It's very excited. Those types of movies and things there as well. But the Packard plant comes to mind as the front runner in abandoned buildings.
Yeah, the Packard plant.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, what are you going to do? You're going to tear it down? My brother worked at the Janesville Assembly Plant in Wisconsin for many, many years, and it was a very old plant. And General Motors decided, we're done with it. We're not going to rebuild there. They actually physically tore down this ginormous factory where they made everything from Suburbans down to Vegas throughout the decades. And all of those people lost their jobs. Yeah. They don't have a job anymore, so they've had to find other work. There are other manufacturers up there, but not auto manufacturers. And so they've had to move. And it becomes a huge eyesore. The city wound up taking the property, but it's still sitting there with a big pile of rubble. What is the city going to do with it? They've got it, but there's nothing to put on it. It's a very complicated thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it changes the character of the community, right? It's not just the factory shutting down, but the mom and pop stores that support the employees and their purchases and things like that. Whether it's a grocery store or a small clothing store or appliance or a hardware store. Right? It just kind of decimates everything there. So I think the companies, if they put more of a focus on the long term, I think you can find a good case for bringing back these plants, whether it's for EV production or maybe gasoline production or even hybrid. But again, you need to have that long-term view, right? I think focus on. I think a lot of the CEOs are probably looking at the stock prices, which fluctuate, especially these days, and so they look at it and say, there's so much uncertainty out there. I'm just going to make short-term decisions, and a lot of this is, by the way, driven by uncertainty that exists in the market in the U.S. especially. And so everybody's on a holding pattern when it comes to investments. And so they're not willing to look at either the company that owns that abandoned property or somebody else like Magna or part suppliers who could come in there and utilize that space because it's probably being offered at a premium if they want to purchase it. Sorry, not a premium, but a huge discount if the owner wants to offer it. But again, not having certainty in the market, in oil prices, in just the economy itself, right? I mean, inflation is still up. Yesterday it went up a little bit. It's 3.3%. It was actually going down, but now it's ticking back up. So, companies are looking at how much disposable income do people have. They're paying more for gas. They're paying more for energy. Are they going to keep their car longer, or are they going to invest in a new car, whether it's electric or ICE? So all these things, I think, are uncertainty is just causing companies to put a hold on investment, and that's not helping the situation either.
You bring up the inflation rate, 3.5, kind of uptick every now and then, a little downtick and so on, but that's they're now figuring out that there are other plans, the automakers, because of that. It still is low, but it's still not low. It's kind of a mind game. It was at one time, not very long ago, 9% for the inflation rate, and there was no plan after that or for that. Now that it's down, people are considering, well, yeah, I can work with that. Where are we going to be so it doesn't happen again? Well, so I think that's what they're working on.
Let me also add to the fact about these great big, million square feet buildings. Mm-hmm. So many times the actual cities that they're located in will give tax abatements.
Sure.
They will do everything that they can. They'll gather up investments because they want the employees in their city to help with the tax base itself. And so there's that aspect of it. We haven't even touched on that. So there's a huge investment. And let me just add to this as we're running out of time here. Here in Houston, we have very, very many large warehouses. I think that there is a Amazon facility almost on every dang corner these days. And that's not to say that, Amazon could go into one of these 1 million square foot buildings, take a chunk of it for their use, and they divide the building up. I think that those kind of things have already been talked about, and I think that that's also a possibility if they sit idle too long. But there's so many components to all of this Rust Belt property that's sitting idle right now. And I think that there's going to be an actual decision to be made here in the not too distant future. But let me also say that I think that the way that things are going right now, if you need a car, as opposed to buying an EV today, where here in Houston, we don't have the infrastructure to be able to justify the price of that. But I will say that there are some hybrid vehicles out there that are affordable and that raise the mileage of a car almost by double. And I think that you could find something in that regard and actually help the environment and your pocketbook when it comes to gasoline prices.
Yeah, just one quick comment in addition to warehouses. Like you mentioned, in Houston area, you've got Wayfair and Amazon and many other companies having large warehouses. That's certainly one use for this abandoned space, but also data centers, right? I think a lot of companies are looking for establishing data centers. So to the extent that the energy prices around are affordable, I guess that could be another use. Although I would say that data centers don't employ a lot of people. So the employment situation still remains. So I think there's probably, maybe local governments and state governments can take up the mantle and say, okay, how do we bring foreign investors in, whether it's LG, battery production or EV production or something else, and try to bring them in so that space, basically they can offer it for free, right? Because it's such a beaten down property, and then with taxes and all that, make it lucrative for companies to rebuild and with some of the infrastructure already existing.
Is it okay if I call you Sonny?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I mean, Sundaresh is just a little bit harder for me to say than Sonny, and so I no disrespect whatsoever. But when we leave you here, I want to go through some of the titles that this man has because he's absolutely brilliant. And I have to tell you, I love talking to you. You always bring out the worst in me, and because I'm going, wait, this is way over my head. What am I talking about here?
Exactly.
It really,
Does it all the time.
it really is a true pleasure and honor to talk to you. And thank you so much for joining us today. Please let's stay in touch. Let's talk here in another 3 or 4 months, okay?
Absolutely. And you are very kind with
Well,
those words.
I'm just being honest. Sonny, thanks again. We'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, president of the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers, Regents Professor, holds a John Hendricks Chair at Oklahoma State University, served as Associate Dean for Academic Affairs at the College of Engineering, Architecture, and Technology, head of the School of Industrial Engineering and Management at OSU. Humphrey's Chair prior to that. He was the Mary Lee and George F. Duthie Chair in Engineering Logistics in the Industrial Engineering Department of the University of Louisville, and the list goes on. I just read you half.
Oh, yeah. I got a
And
friend.
OSU is Oklahoma State University.
Yeah.
As opposed to what?
Ohio State University.
No, this is Oklahoma.
I had a friend
That's what
of
I know.
mine-
I'm just clarifying.
I had a friend of mine that was inmate of the month at county. So
What's that?
Had his picture up on the wall and everything,
yep.
Just ahead, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History, and I'll bring you this week's automotive news headlines. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues in just a minute. The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. Apple or Android, In Wheel Time podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and jonesing for a different kind of car talk show, give In Wheel Time a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture and Mike's Driving Destinations, all on In Wheel Time. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon, through Amazon Music. InWheelTime.com has a list, and we know you love lists. Week, we're going to be right back here in the In Wheel Time studios, our dual city studios, as a matter of fact. And we invite you to tune in, listen, watch, whatever, on InWheelTime.com, Facebook, and YouTube. If you miss that, you'll be able to connect through a podcast from your favorite podcast channel anytime. Time now for the racing calendar, sponsored by the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge.
Thank you for that. Hey, we got NASCAR. They are at Bristol this weekend. I watched a little bit of the truck race last night. A lot of wrecks. Of course, at Bristol's Bristol, the Bristol baby. So,
let me ask you this. Why do they race on a half-mile oval?
Because
that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
They've been doing it for years.
I know, but so?
It's NASCAR. There you go. They're going to beat
I stepped on my toe last week. Well, I'm not going to do it again this week.
Yes, you are, because it's NASCAR. But I think there was more people on the infield with the teams than there was in the stands. Seriously, I was focused on as they do the wide shots and they come around.
Jeff, I mean,
there's hardly anybody. They did them on the front straight and the back
How
straight.
much is a ticket?
I have no idea.
I bet you it's $100 a seat.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Would I go?
I used to quite a bit.
I did. I did too. Mm-hmm. If it was in my backyard, probably. But it was only in my backyard once a year. Okay, I would go. Mm-hmm. But to tune into something like that?
Yeah. Next week they're going to be in Kansas, and I've been to Kansas many, many times. Hey, you know what else this weekend? NHRA. They are at the Winter Nationals, the In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip. That's going on the 9th through the 12th, so there'll be finals tomorrow.
I love Pomona.
If it's live and if there's not a tiddlywink contest going on that they have to be interrupted by. Or underwater basket weaving is more important too.
Underwater basket weaving.
Yeah. Hold your breath. IndyCar racing, they are at Long Beach, and that's next weekend. So we got a time to wait for that. I got to save this one. Oh, you know what? And Formula One, they're on a hiatus because of the conflict, the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Saudi
Just bring it over here to Houston.
They're going to be in Miami on May 3rd, so we got a couple weeks after that. And my favorite, I've got the 2026 calendar of lawnmower racing. You bet.
Are they bringing it here?
No, but this week.
And what kind of grass do they run it on?
You got the NAS grass, like NASCAR. This is the NAS grass race day. It is in Fort Meade, Florida, and it's going on today.
How many people can you get at Fort Meade?
If you got a mower, you get in free. Okay. There you go. So we're going to update.
Does it have to be a rider?
Yes. Were you going to take a push mower to a race?
No. But you,
well, you know.
How about those that the guy actually stands on a little platform behind it? He doesn't sit down. He stands on a platform behind it.
It's like the garden people.
It's like a chariot race.
Yeah. There you go. And you know about that.
I invented it. All right.
We're frozen.
Time now for This Week in Auto History, Mr. Mars.
Yes, sir. So we found a few things this week that we thought were really interesting in automotive history. And we're going to start with April the 6th. Now, this is whenever Audi was founded. Now, the August Horsch actually established Audi. He was actually with a company called Horsch Automobiles. He helped create that company, started it out from scratch. And then he lost that in a little bit of a conflict with the with his partners. Now, he ended up going and creating his own company, which he named Audi, which is actually a translation of Horsch into the German language. So that's how that name came about. And it went through a lot of iterations, a lot of mergers and things, and finally ended up with the Volkswagen Group where it is now. Now, on April the 8th in 1911, the Electric Auto Light Company was founded. Now, this was important because they produce electrical components, and they produce enough of them for enough of the different companies that were being created that it helped standardize the automotive electronics that came during that period of growth. Now, you may have heard of the Auto Light Company, but the Autolite name was actually associated a whole lot with Ford. Ford bought them. It was part of their spark plugs, a lot of things like that. And they ended up, lawsuits, etc. Lawyers got involved again. They ended up selling Autolite name to Bandex. And then whenever it also created, and what was left of it went to create Prestolite, which you may see and hear, because that's what helped get cars away from the systems they developed, got away from the hand cranks over to the starters that they happened to be building. Then in April the 10th, 1925, the Chrysler launched the Model 70. Now, this was really their first vehicle, and it created a lot of engineering innovations that kind of brought on to the industry. The high-compression engines, four-wheel hydraulic brakes were introduced on this vehicle. So it set a lot of standards for the future as the cars came into the market, as well as for Chrysler. Now, on April the 10th, 1912, the RMS Titanic sailed. Now, I bring up the Titanic because it's not really an automotive event, but it was such a big disaster. So many people got involved in looking at the safety things that could have been done to prevent that or help minimize the damage that was done to it and create all this mitigation and rolled over into the automotive segments. And cars became a lot more safer because of the things that people learned from that disaster. Now, on April the 11th, 1947, Kaiser Fraser Corporation was created. Now, this was, of course, Henry J. Kaiser and Joseph W. Fraser. They launched that to challenge Detroit's Big Three. Now, they had a lot of bold styling and a lot of things going on in that. And the company founded with two different models. The Kaiser was a front-wheel drive model, and the Fraser was a rear-wheel drive model. Now, they were involved, and they built from 1942 to 1943. It evolved into buying Willis, and then got into the Jeeps, and a lot of other things before they actually went out of business. The April 5th, 1936, the introduction of the Lincoln Zephyr. Now, this vehicle was made from 1936 to 1942. It had the V12 engine in it. It was a little more affordable than some of the other Lincoln models, so it was really a market hit. However, World War II started. A lot of companies stopped production. And the Lincoln, when it came back out of World War II, started production again. However, it no longer had that Zephyr name. So it just really wasn't resurrected. And that's a few of the things we found this week in automotive history that we thought were pretty interesting. So, and now we've got a few other problems here, and we are going to, Don's doing headlines, but Don's not here right at the moment. And see if we can get them back on here. There they are.
Wes, we're here. We've been fiddling with stuff over here, trying to get ourselves back on the air. But let's take a break, shall we, Mr. Mars? The In-World Time Car Talk Show is going to continue right after these brief messages. We invite you to...
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Gift giving should be meaningful, and we have an idea. A hand-painted custom illustration of your car from one of the nation's leading artists. You've seen his work at car shows and on display at the Hemi Hideout. Now you can have an illustration or car poster customized for you, a friend, or loved one. Bill Seitz is a real car guy that speaks the language and will be happy to guide you through the process. No matter what the day, birthday, anniversary, or any day, an Autographics custom illustration adds an extra touch of class to any home. Call Bill today, 832-922-0963. That's 832-922-0963.
It is the award-winning in-wheel time car talk show. Richard Tomlain.
Who?
Remember that name?
I think
From
so.
Apex Auto Works?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's been found, and we catch up with him about the Pikes Peak Hill Climb in the 69 Road Runner. Are you nuts? In Jeff's car culture, things we didn't know about the launch of the Model T Ford. And Mr. Mars has swap meets. You going to one in the top 5 in the United States?
Depending on where the top 5 are.
Well,
we're gonna swap.
we're gonna look at the top 5 in Texas. That way you don't have to go too far, Jeff.
All right. Thank you.
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin, Chief Engineer David Ainsley, and I'm Don Armstrong. Thank you very much for joining us. It's turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous Saturday
Don't
for our
rub it
live
in.
show here.
Don't rub it in.
No, but I mean, look at the sun.
It is.
shining
It's
out.
nice.
I cut the grass on Thursday
There
just
you go.
before it
You
got
are
a
rubbing
nice
it in.
rain.
Yeah.
And because you're going to do that today.
Well, I cleaned the gutters this week, and I washed the house this week.
You?
I did.
I got some
Absolutely.
clothes that need to be washed. If you got
Well.
more time.
Just bring them over. I'll take them down to the creek and beat them.
Rock. Who is joining us? Did I hear somebody knocking on the door right here? Would that happen to be Richard Tomlain with Apex Auto Works?
There
Oh
you
my
go.
God, it is. Richard, we thought that you had gone into another world.
You look taller. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Richard.
Richard, have you muted your microphone, Richard?
Again.
Because we can't hear a damn thing.
Okay. Let me work with Richard
All
here.
right, you work with that. At any rate, so you did all of that? You did not do all of
I
that.
did do all that. I did. I saw you land at Sugarland Wednesday.
Did you tell me?
Yeah, well, I heard, and I got on the app, and I'll be darned.
Yeah.
So I went out there, and I mooned you. Kind of, I did all that.
Yeah, I didn't see that, thank goodness, but yes. Yeah.
No, but I saw you. I heard you. I didn't actually see the bird coming in, but I heard you.
Yeah, well, we did. We landed out there for a brief while and got back up again. Anyway,
Figure fueling. Get
Did our
get
fueling.
the fuel.
yep. And get all that nice jet exhaust all over me, which, I walk into some place and you go, but it smells like jet exhaust. Well, it's kind of like, nitromethane exhaust.
I had beans for lunch.
Had beans for lunch, exactly. Oh, my God. Well, I didn't do any headlines.
Oh, you know what? I got something.
No. I've got to get some headlines in because I've got so many and I want everybody to know.
Okay.
GM again has idled production at an electric vehicle plant in Detroit due to waning demand. Less than 3 months after a mass layoff and reduction to a single shift, 1,300 workers remaining at Factory Zero, where were temporarily laid off March 16th. They're expected to return April 13th. According to the UAW, the plant was previously idled October 27th through November 24th before being cut to a single shift in January. Sorry. Blame Mary Barra.
Oh boy.
GM plans to introduce to the U.S. market a Buick sedan
Yeah, buddy.
built on the same platform underpinning as the next generation Cadillac CT5 and the Chevy Camaro. Now, how do you do that? Is the Chevy Camaro going to grow to the size of
I don't know.
a sedan DeVille?
Those designers are doing a lot of drinking.
The car will be the first in North America for Buick, once known for luxurious sedans and coupes, since it discontinued the Regal in 2020.
Yeah.
Buick's North American lineup now consists of the Enclave, the Encore GX, the Envision, and the Invista crossovers.
The Envision is becoming more high-end as the years go by. This year's model of the Envision, which I have, is a little bit more optioned.
Yeah, so you beat them all to the punch.
Well,
You optioned it up.
No, they can. I haven't optioned mine. Mine just came standard, and I love it.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but it's not the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, shall we try it, Richard?
We got
again?
Richard.
Richard, do we have you now?
Richard?
Mars,
Well,
I'm going to turn you down. So I'm just going to continue on with the news of the day until you guys
yeah, I'm
get
not
that
sure why
figured
we
out.
can't hear
Wave
Richard.
at us and let us know when you've got them. Production of the next generation CT5 and Camaro expected to begin in Lansing in the fall of next year. GM expects to produce 60 to 70,000 CT5 and Camaro vehicles annually at the plant, according to the source.
So it's going to be built in Michigan.
Yep, Lansing.
Yep.
You ever been to Lansing?
Oh yeah, capital.
Where is Lansing,
Lansing
from
is
Detroit? In the middle of the state?
A couple hours away, maybe. Yeah.
North?
Yeah, northwest. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Big college town.
In the past, platforms were largely defined by body styles and engine layouts. Today, digital functions and software are at the core of everything we do. That, according to the BMW folks. The comments highlight the scale of transformation underway at BMW as legacy automakers race to keep pace with Tesla and a new wave of Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers that have prioritized software and rapid development cycles. BMW rolling out its new class program, the automaker's next generation vehicle architecture, and on March 18th unveiled the i3, a new class-based version of its Core 3 series. The i3, which starts production in August at BMW's Munich factory, is the second model on the new class platform after the iX3 SUV. Here they come. But I guess that the point to make there is the fact that all of the cars now are computer-assisted.
Yep.
Remember, back in the day, it was the clay models.
Yeah.
And the clay models, gosh, I miss those days when the Houston Auto Show is going to have 5 brand new concept vehicles. And they'd roll them out and they'd be all painted up. Of course, there was no inside to
Right.
them.
There's nothing. It was just shell. Yeah.
You're right, just a shell. But they had them way up on a big platform, going in a big turntable, and some hot looking chick describing the car. Gone are those days.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a shame.
Yep.
Oh well.
That's how they design before computers.
And here, this falls under the bad dealership.
Again. All right.
A former high-level executive at
Of course.
3 New Jersey luxury dealerships who embezzled more than $1.6 million over 7 years was sentenced to 18 months in prison in order to pay $494,082 in back taxes. Juyong Lee pleaded guilty before U.S. District Judge Catherine Hayden to filing a false income tax return for 2021. That's how they got him? Well, wait a minute. They got mobsters that way too, didn't they?
I don't know, but that's
Tax evasion?
$228,571 a year.
He wasn't living too bad off the hog, was he?
That's just scratch.
Juyong Lee pleaded guilty before U.S. District Judge Hayden to filing a false income tax return 2021. From approximately 2015 through 2021, Lee embezzled over 1.6 from various high-end dealerships in New Jersey, where he worked. When he filed his tax returns, Lee failed to report or pay tax of the funds as income. Dummy. Lee was general manager of Maserati of Central New Jersey, Bentley, Edison, and Ferrari of Central New Jersey, all in Edison. The stores are part of the Mercado Automotive Group of Miami, which ranks number 65 on the list of top 150 dealerships in the U.S. Well, they won't be in the top.
You couldn't
anymore.
take that amount from like a Volkswagen dealer
Or a McDonald's restaurant.
right. It's all Mercedes or
Maserati, all the big buy stuff. USMCA. You've heard that? Mm-hmm. It's U.S., Mexico, Canada.
Right.
It's an agreement that has been in place for a long time. Well, U.S. Trade Representative Jamison Greer said Tuesday that he does not expect negotiations on the U.S., Mexico, Canada agreement on trade to be resolved by July 1st. They were hoping to get it done by July 1st. July is the required deadline for USMCA to notify Canada and Mexico about its plans for the trilateral trade pact known as USMCA. The USMCA review sets up a 3-way choice for each country. They can renew the deal for another 16 years, withdraw from it, or signal both non-renewal and non-withdrawal, which triggers an annual review that could keep negotiations going for up to a decade. Oh, God.
Didn't George Bush, the younger, put that in place? I think he negotiated that.
Got a meeting.
Yeah.
Let's go to a meeting. Let's go to another meeting. Okay, what time's that meeting? 3?
Well,
wait a minute. And then after the 3, we got one at 7 o'clock in the morning before everybody gets here. Oh, wait, we're not done. The lunch, we're going to cater it, and we got another meeting.
Let's have a meeting about lunch.
Let's have a meeting about a meeting. Kidding.
I was in a company that did that.
Have we lost
actually kind of
Mars? Where's Mars?
He's working with Richard, trying to get Richard.
Well, I think that he needs to go down there to Apex Auto Works.
There you go.
Either that or just give up on the whole thing. I can continue on with headlines if you'd like.
Well, you go right ahead if you got them.
All right. Are you able to do the launch of the Model T Ford from here with the video and everything?
Maybe. Let me see.
All right, because
You do that, and I'll work on this.
All right, you work on that.
I'll work on
Over
this.
40 years in the U.S., Hyundai has worked its way into a position of strength in mass market passenger cars and family haulers. Now, Hyundai is entering the last big uncharted territory in its quest to join the ranks of North America's full-line automakers. With its first body-on-frame platforms in the U.S., the fast-growing company is muscling in on the highly profitable pickups and SUVs that are the lifeblood of the Detroit 3. The first vehicle on the new platform, a midsize pickup truck scheduled to arrive in 2029. Hyundai hinted at its vision for full-fledged trucks with the Boulder concept, a sleek, powertrain-agnostic utility, it says, can tackle the toughest terrain. In Boulder, the Boulder, though only a concept, is aimed squarely at the growing off-road segment owned by Ford Bronco and Jeep Wrangler. Hyundai already has a pickup in the U.S., the compact unibody Santa Cruz, but it musters only a fraction of the Ford Mustang's Mavericks sales, I should say. Sources have told Automotive News that Hyundai soon will give up on the Santa Cruz. So they're going to do a whole new thing, and they're going to get serious about it. I saw a Santa Cruz just yesterday, and I'm going, man, that thing is small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why not?
Smaller than a Santa Fe.
I'm sure that they've done the research, but I don't understand why they don't build a El Camino or a Ranchero size vehicle that was built on a car frame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why don't they do that? I guess they've done the research.
It's not in line for the next idea. They've got other ideas that they want to take care of.
Well, they need to stop that. What do they think they are?
They're moving forward.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Mr. Mars, are you with us?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought I read something about some rumors that Chevrolet was going to resurrect the El Camino.
They're going to re-erect the name. Re-erect. Whatever. I've screwed all that up all morning long. I guess Richard Tomlain is a no, huh?
Yeah, we're not sure what's going on down there. We got video, but no audio, so we're going to work offline this week and see if we can figure out what's going on.
Just a minute. Isn't he in Alvin?
Yes.
Alvin! I could only imagine the Alvin telephone company.
We could bring him up as an in-studio guest up here.
You could.
Yeah.
It'd take him an hour to get here.
Yeah.
Well, but still, he's talked to us before from the parking lot, showing us some of the projects and stuff. He's talked to us from Pikes Peak. So I don't know what's going on, but we're going to work on it this week.
Mike, you ought to know all about it. You live in Neaterville.
Could be Theodore did it.
Yeah, Theodore. Yeah.
And what was the other one? Alvin, Theodore, and Oscar?
No.
The three chipmunk boys. Oh, boy. If you know, contact Mike at Mars at Inwood Time.
Alvin, Theodore.
Let's see here. What were the names of the three? Famous
Are you Googling it?
If George is listening, George knows. George will know.
Well, George is listening, but
Simon.
Theodore. Of course.
G. Davy.
Squirrel.
That was Simon. Speaking of our listeners, Jeff Heitzman, congratulations on his Artemis. You know, Jeff was part of that program. I think he's in Artemis 3. He's working on Artemis 3 project. So
yeah, he's working on some future parts of it, the next step or two.
Yep. So good for Jeffrey.
Well,
yeah.
Very exciting.
My Katie is out in Vandenberg. She's been out there all week. She's working on a SpaceX project that is going to launch 6 count them, 6 of her satellites on one rocket ship.
Oh boy.
And
the in-wheel time space cases.
that's right. Well, that's going to be our next title.
Yeah. We should do remote from the moon, Mike.
Actually, we are. Based on all of our trials and tribulations with this Zoom thing that Mars has saddled us with, that's been over a year, and every week it's something.
Come on.
Well, no, it's not his fault.
No, it's not.
But it is.
We buffer.
Mars, yeah, listen, I know Becky, and it's always your fault.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to bust the cycle there. So I'm just going to keep up the.
Yeah, I would be
bust his butt.
I would be disappointed to learn that I did something right. Every once in a while, she'll say something. I say, "Can you write that on the wall?" Nope. Yeah. I ain't going to write it on the wall.
Put it on a
That's
calendar.
Right. Yeah, that wall was painted 15 years ago, and there's still nothing on it.
Exactly.
All right. We're going to take a quick break,
There you
okay? Because we deserve it, by golly.
I would like to say one thing though.
Sure.
So we're kind of like the Artemis toilet that they had problems with. We're going into areas unknown as far as live streaming goes that most people don't do. They record it and then they fix it so they don't have anything.
They have
real.
Money. That's the problem. They have money and they just throw money at it. Either that or they go to a podcasting studio. They go to a podcasting studio, pay a fortune for it, kind of like we did in the old radio days. Yeah. Remember that? And we go there, and somebody else would make all the money from us, and,
exactly.
and we would broadcast it to 0 people.
I think what he's trying to say is we got a lot of crap floating around here.
We do.
Yeah.
Just saying that we are leading technology in this field. And it's kind of like that toilet. Sometimes you got to stop and fix it.
They fixed it.
They had more computing power on Alan Shepard's first rocket ship.
Well, yeah, they said the calculators nowadays have more power than what they went up with. All the computers that they had.
I was trying to be funny.
Oh, sorry.
And they still haven't got the toilet fixed.
No, the toilet still is a problem.
Well, you just go to the backyard.
Exactly.
Go on the backside of the moon. You should have took care of that while you were on the backside of the moon.
Just ahead in Jeff's car culture, the launch of the Model T Ford and Mars has top 5 swap meets in the U.S. of A. in his driving destinations. After this break on the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. Apple or Android, N-Wheel Time podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and jonesing for a different kind of car talk show, give N-Wheel Time a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture and Mike's Driving Destinations, all on N-Wheel Time. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon, through Amazon Music. NWheelTime.com has a list, and we know you love lists.
Beat over the head with lists.
I got a list.
All right. N-Wheel Time invites you to join us 10 to noon Central Time every Saturday if we're there for our live show about all things automotive. We hope you'll join us. Shut up. Thanks for being with us today. I wrote that on there. I'm sorry that you're with us today. How's that? Did I cover all the bases?
He wrote shut up on it. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Time now for Jeff's Car Culture. Launch of the Model T Ford.
It's about time. So the things that you really didn't know and the kind of speculation, but the Model T revolutionized transportation and manufacturing in America when it debuted in 1908. While many know it was the first affordable automobile that put America on wheels, Henry Ford's vision created the new car for the common person. So here we go. Talk about price. Well, initially the car sold for $825 in 1908, equivalent to about 25 grand today. The affordable compared to other automobiles of the area, which typically cost about 2 grand. Ford managed the price point by focusing on simplicity and efficiency. And then you talk about the color. Well, despite the popular saying that customers would have had any color as long as it's black, the earliest Model Ts weren't actually black. The first production models came in gray, green, red, and blue.
Really?
Black became standard in 1914 because black paint dried faster.
That's why?
And it sped up production.
Wow.
Who knew?
Who knew? So you talk about the people doing that. Well, workers were paid $5 a day in 1914, which was just generous. It was revolutionary. The wage doubled and the industry standard to follow allowed workers to afford the very cars they were building, and that's what Ford wanted. He wanted understanding that the customers create what was important to them. Talk about the budget. Ford's budget was not anything uncommon, but modern vehicles launched with massive marketing campaigns. Ford spent almost nothing on advertising for the Model T. The car essentially sold itself through word of mouth and newspaper coverage. Ford relied on the product's quality and affordability to generate the buzz. The assembly line? Well, contrary to popular belief, the Model T didn't launch with the famous moving assembly line. The innovation came 5 years after the release in 1913.
I was going to say about 1914 when everybody got a raise.
Yep. Before that, cars were built in a stationary position with workers moving between them, taking about 12 hours per vehicle.
Wow.
The capacity? Well, Ford's factory could produce 11 cars per day by 1914 and implementing the moving assembly line. The number skyrocketed to about 93 a car every 93 minutes, which was very good back then. Efficiency allowed Ford to continue dropping prices throughout production. The first global car, well, it's what they called it. It was designed as the world's first global car. Ford built factories across 6 continents, and the Model T was manufactured in 20 countries. That's pretty crazy back then in 1913, 1914. Talk about the procedures. Well, the Model T wasn't as simple as turning the key. Drivers had to set multiple levels to adjust the throttle, physically cranking the engine by hand. The crank would kick back dangerously and sometimes breaking a wrist or a finger if the unprepared person was operating it. The innovations that they had, well, the unique material solutions, it's a magneto, part of the ignition, was built in the flywheel using materials that had been used in automobiles before. The innovation eliminated the need for batteries in the early models through significant engineering achievements. Transformation of it was the Ford specifically designed the Model T with high ground clearance, flexible suspension to handle America's most unpaved rural roads. Don't forget, there wasn't any concrete back then either. The Model T arrived before proper roads did, actually driving demand for better infrastructure nationwide. So kind of contributed to that.
Now that's a Model A.
Yeah. There's other pictures in there too. The source, many farmers used the Model T as a stationary power source. By jacking up the rear wheels and attaching a belt to the axle, the Model T could perform farm equipment like saws, pumps, and threshers, effectively serving as a mobile generator. The name, well, the T designated seems obvious now, but few know it represented the Ford's 20th design attempt. This previous model ran through much of the alphabet. Several of them failed prototypes before the Model T was a success. The earliest prototypes from 1903 were simply named with letters in sequence. So the T finally was at the end of the alphabet, basically. Other milestones, the production ended in 1927. Ford manufactured an astounding 15 million Model Ts. The record stood until 1972 when the Volkswagen Beetle finally surpassed it. No other single model dominated the market so completely for so long. So there you go. You're just going to drive it through America, and that's little tidbits and facts about that. And people didn't know all that, and now you do. So
that was interesting, actually. I didn't realize. I always thought that the Model T was a assembly line made from the very beginning, but no, 5 years later.
He was very innovative back in the beginning. So thank you, Henry Ford, and all the Ford family.
But
let's go recall something.
He wasn't a very nice person.
No, he wasn't. He was no, he was not.
He was an ass.
I think he was an anti-Semite. Is what he was.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stories about that too.
Yeah. And every one of those pictures you saw, those vehicles have been recalled.
Oh my God! I haven't even done recalls, but Mr. Mars,
Yes,
It's
sir.
time for your driving destinations and 5 swap meets, and it's time for you to go.
You want me to get it, Mike?
If you would, sir, I'll pull it up and get you started. There you go.
All right.
So, swap meets are something that we used to. I remember when I was much, much younger that was something that we always went to looking for parts. It was a big deal. It was almost like almost every car show had a swap meet, and it's not so much anymore. Now, if you're going to find something, generally it's tied into a flea market. But there are several swap
or you go
meets.
online and get it.
Yeah.
Or you go online and get it. Yeah, it takes all the fun out of walking through it. So, but one of them that's going on that is still a pretty big deal is the Southwest Swap Meet at Lone Star Park. Now, this is right between Dallas and Fort Worth. Happens twice a year. In fact, it's going on this weekend is the spring event, and there'll be one later on in the fall. Now, this has been around since 1968, and it's set up on a 300-acre horse racing facility. So, it's not a lot of open fields and stuff. You've got parking lots and grandstand. The track's all right there in the background. But there's like 5,000 spaces available for vendors, food trucks, and the auto corral. So if you want to go looking for something in a little bit more of a laid-back atmosphere that's not totally too big, put on your walking shoes and go check out this one. Now, getting a little bit closer to home down here in the Dallas part of the world, Hot Rods of Texas Swap Meet happens up in Conroe. Again, this one is twice a year, and this is the second largest swap meet in Texas. Now, the October event is set for October the 23rd and the 25th. Again, Montgomery County Fairgrounds out on Airport Road. We've been out there a couple of times with some other events. It is a real fairgrounds. It is a large place, and they use the whole thing. Hot rods, muscle cars, project builds. And the great thing about this one is if you're going to be a vendor there, if you're going to come in there and set up, you got to have at least 75% of your content or your stuff you're bringing in has got to be auto related. So you're not really going to turn this into some sort of flea market with a lot of handicrafts on it. And it usually draws a pretty big crowd.
Well,
because
Martha, isn't that a cute purse you brought over there?
Thank you.
got a car on it. So then we want to go to the big one. Now, this is the biggest in Texas, and it is considered one of the largest in the country. Now, this is the Pate Swap Meet. Happens April the 23rd through the 25th, so still got time to get there. Now, this was started in 1972 by several Texas car clubs who were going off to Pennsylvania, to Hershey, and places like that, and they got tired of making the drive. So they decided to set one up here, and it's been through several different places, and now is home at the Texas Motor Speedway. 14 clubs get together to put this together. They have 2,000 vendors. They have 9,900 spaces for people to set up and swap parts and swap stories. Then they have an auto corral. And there's some pictures. Part of these pictures are from the top seating of the track looking out over the field. It uses the whole track. And a lot of people, I mean, they now have golf carts. A lot of people use scooters. A lot of people to get around. Last time I was up there, it wasn't quite this big. It was pre-COVID. I was there 2 days and still didn't get to walk through all of it.
Wow.
So there's lots of
Lucky
stuff
you.
up there and lots of things. And if you buy something, if you can't carry it, they got people that will actually carry it to your car.
Oh,
So
yeah.
one thing about these swap meets, whether it's these big ones or the smaller ones that you can find, the biggest thing you got to remember is bring cash. Cash is king because out there in the middle of that parking lot, you're not going to necessarily have access to a credit card. And the other thing is, if you want to get something in particular, if you're really looking for a hard-to-part find, you ought to get there a little bit early and get started on it.
Okay.
Bring your walking shoes.
Yeah.
And a couple others.
Flip-flops.
Yeah. You walk your feet off with that. A couple other things I want to mention quite real quick. Greenville Swap Meet. That's an old school option early in the spring that's up there. And the other one is the Corvette Chevy Expo down in Galveston. It's pretty close. That one also has a swap meet, but it's primarily GM focused, obviously heavy into the Corvettes. But swap meets are still out there, and you can find them. You just got to kind of look for them. They're not as plentiful as they used to be, but they're still a lot of fun.
All right, thank you, sir. Got to take a quick break here on the End-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We're back after these messages.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Gift giving should be meaningful, and we have an idea. A hand-painted custom illustration of your car from one of the nation's leading artists. You've seen his work at car shows and on display at the Hemi Hideout. Now you can have an illustration or car poster customized for you, a friend, or loved one. Bill Seitz is a real car guy that speaks the language and will be happy to guide you through the process. No matter what the day, birthday, anniversary, or any day, an Autographics custom illustration adds an extra touch of class to any home. Call Bill today, 832-922-0963. That's 832-922-0963.
It is the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show today, coming to you from our Dual City Studios in Texas, USA. Just ahead, guess what it sold for?
I don't know. What did it sell for?
We're going to find out.
Okay.
How about recalls? You want to guess a manufacturer that's in there again this week?
I just did your recalls for you.
Yeah? Well, guess what? There are more. Jeff's going to have the cruise in and events calendars.
Yeah.
You going to have that?
Oh, yeah. Got it right
Okay,
here.
just want to make sure.
Got stuff going on.
And I'll bring you a couple of the stories we have left of those stories making news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, we always need more Jeff Zekin, master studio and transmitter engineer David Ainsley, who has nothing to do with the restream that we are currently using. And God,
but he wants to be.
Yeah, no,
I think he does.
They need him is what they need. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us. I'm not bitter. All right, so let's do the recall, shall we? You don't mind, do you, Mars?
No, sir.
Good. Because
We got recall restream.
Yeah, we should. Every week it's something with those people.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. Approximately 422,613 vehicles. Why do they say approximately if they're going to use that
The exact number, yeah. Give or take 400,000.
Including 21 to 23 Ford Expedition, 21 to 23 Lincoln Navigator, 22 and 23 Ford F-250, 350, 450, 550, 600 Super Duty trucks.
Bingo.
The wiper arms may break, resulting in failure and reduced visibility, increasing the risk of a crash.
What's Martha have to say about that?
Wait a minute. So they use the same wiper setup on all those trucks. Why don't they just say, if you got a Ford truck, your wiper motor's going to die?
Pretty much.
Only when it rains.
No, it's not the wiper motor.
Okay.
It's not the wiper motor.
It's the arm.
The wiper arms may break. The arms. The
Aren't they
things that
metal?
actually hold the blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine are metal. Aren't they metal?
Yes, they are.
Paper mache.
But guess what?
Excuse me.
They're going to break.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay, we've got
Only
more.
when it rains.
A separate recall affects specific 21 to 26 F-150, 22 to 26 F-250, F-600, 22 to 26 Maverick, 24 to 26 Ranger, and 22 to 27 Lincoln Navigator Expedition vehicles for a potential loss of trailer brake and turn signal lights. Just bring them all back.
Yeah.
We made a mistake. I'm sorry. We built these things. We didn't mean it.
Gosh.
GM's not out of the picture. Chevy Malibu, 23 to 25, 270,000 vehicles recalled due to a rear view camera display issue, which may result in a blank screen or a frozen image. We know about that. Violating safety regulations.
Yeah.
Or,
is
if
that
that's
safety?
not enough,
That's not safety, though, is it? The camera?
it doesn't make any difference. It's being recalled.
It is now.
Or, here's some more. Diesel trucks and SUVs, 20 to 2022, 462,000 Silverado, and GMC Sierra 1500, 2500, 3500 pickup trucks, along with some SUVs, due to rear wheel locking risk.
Oh boy, that's dangerous.
Yeah, here you go, 70 miles an hour down the road.
You're rolling coal, baby.
Everything is looking just fine, right? And all of a sudden, the back end locks up, and the car is doing this, and into the ditch it goes, and side swipes. What? Are you kidding?
Can you imagine if you had a trailer on the tail end of it and that happened?
Yeah.
Martha's driving. Oh, boy.
And let's not leave out the Chevy Corvette,
No,
shall
let's
we?
not.
33,000 vets, including the E-Rays and the ZR1s, recalled due to a software error that fails to warn drivers if the rear turn signal is broken. Okay. Oh, but we're not done. Front passenger airbag may not deploy properly after you've run into the wall at 70 miles an hour. Lexus LX, 22 to 24.
I hate to ask how they know that.
Well, apparently somebody got their eye poked out or something.
Or crashed
Something.
and it didn't go off.
Instrument panel failure, VW Jetta and Taos, 25-year model. Park outside, high voltage battery modules may short circuit and burn your house down for the Nissan Leaf of 2026.
Oh, wow.
No wonder they're not selling any of those. Oh. Improperly sealed side curtain airbag. So it goes, and it doesn't do it.
Yep.
Like when you take a balloon, it goes.
It doesn't even get that full. It just goes. Chrysler Pacifica and Voyager, 2022 to 26. Incorrect weld may cause a seat bracket failure for the Lucid Gravity, 25 and 26. Loose wheel bolts. I guess you got to find that out before you actually get recalled on it. For the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon.
Oh man.
580 EV for 2025.
The fine time to leave me, loose wheel.
No, so here's another one. Airbag may not deploy as intended on every Mercedes that was ever built. 2026 model.
Including the 2029s.
That, yeah, or they have a vision of building.
Yeah.
There's all of that. All right. Well, that was fun. Let's do something that's actually really fun to do. Are the boys, is Heitzman here? Is George Skelton with us?
Well, they were
they are.
earlier.
Yeah, well, we probably lost them in then all that mayhem of Restream
They're
not doing.
rebooting.
Do what?
The boys are rebooting.
They're rebooting. That's right, because for frozen objects. All right, so let's just do it by ourselves, shall we?
Yeah, they'll be here.
They'll be here.
All right.
See, there's Heitzman right now.
There you
Oh,
go.
thank God. Okay, so here we go. Our first car up for bid. These actually sold on Hemming Sold Car on the internet. 1968 Chevrolet Corvair. Now, I'm familiar with the Corvair.
You are.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of them. And
What
I
year
never
was
have
yours?
another one. Well, I had two. I had a 65 originally. It was the first year model of the two models that were built. And it was great. It had 4 one-barrel carburetors, which were impossible to tune, and a 4-speed manual transmission. And that car would haul donkey.
Okay, this one I'm going to go 13. No, I'm going to go 12. Cutting back this year. I'm going to go 12. Jeff says 34.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, God, Jeff. It's a
Oh,
Corvair,
George is
for God's sake.
13,999.
Okay, well, very good. Well, it sold for $9,300.
Okay.
A bargain at any price. Would I buy another one?
Sure.
No. Here's one. Very affordable. The
Is it 70?
1967 Ford Mustang. It looks like it's got wheel covers on it.
Yeah.
White wall tires. Is it a convertible?
Yeah,
Looks like
it's
a
convertible. It is.
Top.
67 Ford Mustang. What would that sell for?
I don't like the way they got those rear pipes out back there.
Got a V8.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 15.
15.
For a convertible?
Yeah. Doesn't look like it's
All
gonna
right.
change.
Well, look, I know. Look at the seats all messed up
Yeah,
and stuff.
and the motors
So
look
it's a
dirty,
little raggedy.
So Heitzman's right in there with you at 16,000.
16,000.
That top looks new because it's got that line in the back glass.
That's right. Because it's been sitting on the shelf for 70 years.
And George says 15,999.
It's
So
sold for $18,900.
We're all in the
y'all
park.
are in the same ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely. Now this is Jeff's car, the next one up.
Oh man,
This
priceless.
is a 1946 Cadillac Series 62. This thing is sweet.
I need a bigger
Golly.
garage.
Huh?
Look at that. I
Oh,
need
yeah,
a-
definitely
need-
need that.
yeah.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
Now, this to me, I can see Doris Day riding in this. Or Marilyn Monroe.
No, Doris Day.
I can see
46
Doris Day. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe needs a sportier car.
I'm going to say, well, it's got a top down, so maybe it would be her.
This thing is it's supreme, okay?
42.
Really? 42? Jeff says 42. What do the
Well,
boys say?
Heitzman says 41,
There you go, Jeffrey.
and George
George
says
says-
23.
23.
99999.
Well, except for George, y'all are pretty close. $45,150.
There you go. We're getting better at this,
That
Jeff.
thing is sweet.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
That's a
what
nice
that thing
car.
I know. Can you imagine what it rides like?
Butter.
Ooh, butter, yeah. All right, moving on.
Uh-oh.
Is the 1972 Dodge Challenger. Now, before you get all out of sight and uptight and all that, I think that this is not anything that you would perhaps think it's a big high horsepower car, because it's not. It's a 72 Dodge Challenger. How much? Could be a clone.
Ah.
yeah, because it
19.
doesn't say if it's RTs or whatever,
No, no,
whatever.
That's why I'm saying
I'm going to go 19.
19.
And that's probably high.
The boys say
They're
Well,
calculating. They're
yeah, they're
calculating. They're looking.
they're calculating. I was
Trying-
looking
trying
to
not
see.
cheat.
checking the bank account.
So, George says,
999.
and Jeff says 21. I was trying to see if it was an automatic or what.
All right, so you
Can't
want to
really
know what
tell.
it sold for?
Yeah.
23,
Oh.
625.
Yeah.
So Heitzman was close.
Yeah.
Yes, he
We're all
was.
in- We're all in the
Y'all, everybody's in the ballpark on that one, and you know what? I could see giving 23 for something like that.
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't
driver.
know whether it's a rust bucket or not,
Yeah.
but whatever.
It'd be a driver.
Here's yours, Mars.
Yeah.
A 1993 Ford Ranger with a camper top on it.
That
Got
actually
it.
doesn't
Got
look
it.
too
Extended
bad.
cab. Got it.
Yeah.
Got the little cab thing on it.
I like the steering wheel grip, the roller bar there, the ball.
No, it's a necker knob.
Okay, is what you young kids are calling that.
That's not what we called it, but that's okay.
What's that hanging from the mirror?
Some sort of a spiritual
Looks like a
thing.
voodoo
No, it
It's
looks
a-
like a rabbit foot thing.
Good luck
boy.
charms.
93 Ford Ranger. How much with the camper top?
Jeff says 7. Jeff says 17. You know, gosh, I'm gonna go 14.
George
Probably
says
George's
79.
closer. Yeah,
George
probably
is not impressed with 7,999.
George would never. You wouldn't even catch George anything close to this. He would run the other way, and I don't blame him. It sold for $15,000.
Yeah,
Whew.
I was in the market.
Yeah, somebody's proud of it.
Yeah,
All right, next up. I don't know whose car this would be.
yours.
This is it's not mine. A '62 Chrysler 300 non-letter series.
Oh man,
This thing is about
Rare.
as ugly as you can get.
and rare.
It's only one step above the Edsel.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I would actually drive that.
I know you would, and you know what? That'd be perfect for you.
I would get out of
Can
the
you-
highway and drive slow in the fast lane.
Yes,
would.
waiting
Just
for
in
somebody
that.
to plow into the back of it.
Just to make you nice.
Can you imagine cleaning the bugs off the front of it?
No, I can't. Yeah, especially during love bug season. Days.
Yeah,
Jeff
I
says
got a few
9.
on the truck, and it's like, ugh.
I'm gonna go 10. Just
10.
It's either gonna be 10 or 11.
Okay.
Everybody says 9.
Everybody else says 9.
Yeah,
George
9-ish.
says 9999.
Okay, it sold for $16,275. Friends, you have got to be really sick and tired of today's stuff to buy something
Maybe
like
they
that.
collect them. Maybe they
It
got
does
more
have
in
the
their
push button
stable.
shifter though in the dash.
You know what? It doesn't make any difference. It's too damned ugly to push anything.
Not if you tub it out.
Tub it out and put an LS in it. Yeah.
Now, here's one. Now, this kind of surprised me, but now, I want you to consider the year model. This is a 1999. Now, we used to call this a Volkswagen bus. At some point, they changed the name to it to a Volkswagen Kombi, Kombi. Okay? It looks like a Volkswagen bus to me, but it's not. 99 Kombi. It's got a sliding door on the side of it. It's just wrong.
I'm gonna go a little high on this and go 21, but I think that's way too high.
Then why do you go with it?
I'm just got that number. I got a feeling. Jeff's probably closer there.
Jeff Heitzman says 13,000.
Yeah, I'm going to go 16 to 21 in that range.
A range?
And-
You can't
I
do
got
ranges.
On this one, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm allowed.
So, well, everybody's in the range. This one sold for $14,490.
I was going to say that.
Liar.
He was narrowing his range down to that.
Oh, God.
They call me Ranger.
All right. And finally, we leave today's
Oh, boy.
sold car roundup with this one.
Clunker.
It's a Fuley. It's a Fuley split window 1963 Chevrolet Corvette. Now, if this is numbers matching, and of course it is a Fuley, so that in itself is
It's
rare.
Rare, yeah.
Okay.
Which means it's got the 4-speed.
Yes. So it's got the 4-speed manual transmission. And I'm going to tell you right now,
Factory wheel covers.
it's expensive. Those look like knockoffs. to me.
$57,000.
57. Yeah. I say that based on what I see, this is a numbers matching, all original. It's probably
Jeffrey, 11. What?
well, they smoke different things down there in the lake.
He's been up there in NASA and he's a little low on oxygen.
There you go.
The 63 split window coupe,
Oh my gosh.
numbers matching would be my guess. How much?
57.
57. And what do the boys say?
Well,
Jeff said 11.
yeah, George is high at 35,999.
And George is 35. Well, he's only missed it by $200,000 because it sold for $235,000.
I would never have dreamed that. I mean, I figured it's high, but not anything like that. Oof.
Well, listen, when you've got something like that, that doesn't surprise me. All it takes is one person.
Buyer. Yep.
Yeah,
And
one person that wants it.
Yep. Somebody that wants it. So that's
Yeah.
This week's.
That could be a museum or anything else,
I'm-
I don't think it'd be a daily driver, though.
no,
No.
God, no. Not that
Parades,
car.
maybe, stuff like that.
That would be an enclosed trailer if you took it anywhere. I'd be afraid to drive it anywhere.
Yeah, because, I mean, even in a trailer, somebody run a red light and decide, boof, you could be in big trouble with that.
You got to have it insured. And you'd have it insured at what the value of it is. But the sad part about that is, okay, so you get your money back. But they don't make those cars anymore.
No.
That's the sad part about it.
You wouldn't get the
And
only
it will,
parts you'd get.
well,
But,
and
no,
it'll
you-
never be the same.
It would never be the same. And listen, that's the saddest part to me. Let's take the price away for a moment. And what you've got there is a factory original 1963 split window coupe with a 4-speed manual transmission and fuel injection.
How many do you think they made?
They didn't make that many, first of all, because of the fuel injection.
Right.
The neighbor's brothers, and I don't know whether it's Kenny. I don't know whether it's Kenny or his brother. One of them, people sent them that fuel injection system because that's mechanical fuel injection. It's not like today's fuel injection.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was all mechanical, and you had to take this thing apart. You had to know what you were doing because there are lots of parts inside of it, and they screwed up all the time. That's why they didn't offer it for a very long period of time, but it was GM's original fuel injection. It's a beautiful car, and I'm a huge split-window coupe fan, but, man, it's a lot of money. All right, let's take a break, shall we? The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show reminds you that we have this show live on the air, 10 to noon every Saturday, if you can get us. And also, you can join us on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, but don't forget about the podcasts. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to bring that up. All right, let's take the break now. We'll be back right after this.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flameado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous loopy beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lippy Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lippy Tortilla, he's pretty good. Apple or Android, In Wheel Time podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and jonesing for a different kind of car talk show, give In Wheel Time a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture and Mike's Driving Destinations, all on In Wheel Time. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon, through Amazon Music. InWheelTime.com has a list, and we know you love lists.
I like lists.
Do you?
I
I actually have one that I'm kind of working on.
I got a list, and you're on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what that is. It starts with an S, I believe, doesn't it?
Got to make a list of the list so I can keep up with the list.
And have a meeting about it.
Mars, do you ever have a list that you hang on to and you don't do anything with until the last minute?
No,
Like
I
the-
work
like
on
the
them all
show?
the time.
Do you?
I may not finish the list by the time it needs to be finished, but
Kathy makes lists, too.
Because,
Yeah.
when we tuned into you this morning at 9, an hour before the show started, Jeff says, he's on the phone with somebody.
Yeah,
I
he's
say
on
it's
the phone.
probably David. Oh, no, it's not David.
it was
So
David.
Was it David?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
But he
David,
wasn't
our
on the
chief engineer.
list.
You know what? I wish that we just turn all of this stuff over to David and just let him direct it from wherever he is. Not that he has time to do it, but
He doesn't know enough to do that.
are you kidding? He'd
He's
probably
listening
design
to,
it.
He's going to whoop me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he knows. All right. Well, let's move on, shall we?
Okay.
Time now for the Cruise In and Events calendar, Jeffrey.
Oh, yeah. Hey, to start out with, what's this weekend in Houston? Meekum auction is this weekend in
Is it
Houston.
really?
Yeah, Meekum.
Yeah.
So we got
yeah.
the Meekum auction, and they've got the damn art car parade.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
they should have taken the art car parade right on out
Over
there
to
to Meekum.
Meekum.
Yeah.
And in fact, Michael with the Pontiac.
Wooding.
Yeah, Michael Wooding.
Michael Wooding.
Michael Wooding's rolling his Pontiac through the auction, I think today or tomorrow, maybe, whenever it is. Anyways, here we go. You've got next weekend, you've got the 74 Lube and Inspection 3rd Annual Car Show. That's at Poteet Canyon Park, which is in Poteet, Texas, which is a little bit,
That's Poteet.
I think it's south of San Antonio.
Yes, South Poteet Strawberry Festival.
Yep, it's going to be at 8880 North State Highway 16. Go check it out. It goes from 11 to 3.
Only Mars would know that they got a strawberry festival in Poteet.
Well, he has a lot of strawberries. That's what he's been
Do you
giving.
have?
Like,
Oh my God!
Been there,
well,
done
I don't
that.
even want to know about that.
I
That's
know.
gross and disgusting.
Okay, the next one for next weekend is the 33rd Annual Open Car Show, free to the public, small fee for the registers of the cars, and that's in Bernie. It's at the Bernie Main Plaza in Bernie, Texas. Vendors, food trucks, silent auction, pet blessing, and nearly 500 beautiful cars to see.
Bernie.
So, Bernie, Texas.
How long would it take us to get from here to Bernie?
About 2 hours, I think. Maybe a little over 2 hours. You got to stop. And
Yeah,
play
more
Buc-ee's
like-
and all that.
Yeah, you got to go through San Antonio. You're looking at 3.
Yeah,
Probably
3
3.
hours. Yeah, probably closer to 3. And then also next weekend, you got the Mustang Week Texas Official Car Show. It's at Moody Gardens Resort in Galveston. It's at One Hope Boulevard. And a lot of stuff going on there.
That's One Hope
That's what I said.
Boulevard. I know, but it sounds like One O. But One Hope Boulevard.
One Hope Boulevard in
Hope.
Galveston, Texas. Get out there, there'll be drifting and all kinds of stuff going on, DJ, all that good stuff. And then
Drifting? Does it say that
Yeah,
in there really?
Yeah, there's gonna be burnout competition, a $15,000 grand purse, and a Mustang glow off competition. I don't know what that is. Accompanied by the
I guess that's
activities.
when you got a bad battery and it just lights on fire.
It
and
could be. I don't know.
Close.
Followed by the
That's
evening
for the
program.
Mustang E EVs.
There you go.
They haven't recalled yet.
Well, no, as at the end of the show, your car will be recalled. That's what it said.
Oh, I see.
Part of the
made that up.
package.
I made that up. And the next Sunday night, a week from tomorrow, is the Tribe 5 Chevy Show celebrating 50th anniversary of the DACC, which is the Dallas Area Classic Chevys organization. No entry. It's a non-judge show. Features Chevy Tribe 5s, Corvettes, favorite pick awards, all that good stuff. Live music, so on and so on. It's going to be a big event. And then you've got next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, the car meets at 403 Eats. This is in Tomball, Texas. It goes from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now, a lot of these, I'll give you the afternoons because the mornings, you're at church and brunch and all that. So a lot of them, I'll tell you, they're going to be from like noon to 7, noon to 5. This one's 3 to 7. So Speed Bump Classics will host the car meets at 403 Eats in downtown.
Speed Bumps Classics. That's a great name.
Yep. Downtown Tomball. So get on out there, enjoy it. Soft drinks. There's got some alcoholic beverages, live music, family-friendly environment. Attendees are asked to respect the rules. So there you go. If you got rules, you better respect them. Or I'll send Mike to your house and he'll sing to you.
We'll respect them, but we ain't going to live by them. I can promise you that.
Mike will get you in trouble if you don't respect them.
Not me.
Mike gets us in trouble all the time, whether you like it or not. You didn't plan for it, but he does. Just saying.
Thank you, Mike.
Just doing what I can do.
I know.
It's not my job.
Scout Motors. They just, remember the International Scout?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, International Harvester, they're not around anymore.
They made tractors, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and they also made an SUV called the Scout. Well, they made an SUV too called the Traveler.
Didn't they make milking machines for farms? Something comes to mind that they made like milking machines for farms. One of the first ones.
Well, International Harvester did.
Right. Okay.
Because it was a farm. It started off as a farm implement
Right.
company.
There you go.
Right.
They made tractors and everything. Anyway, well, they've decided that they're going to sell the name, so they sold the name, and Volkswagen has resurrected the name, and now they're going to build a couple of vehicles. So they say. The launch of Scout Motors Terra and Traveler are coming into focus, and the dates are further out than originally anticipated, according to a new forecast. Production of the Traveler SUV is expected to begin in September of 28, while the Terra pickup output is slated to launch March 2030, according to Auto Forecast Solutions. Sam Fiorani, Vice President of Global Vehicle Forecasting at Auto Forecast Solutions, believes Scout will begin output of an extended range electric powertrain first and follow with the full battery electric version. Latest forecasts are part of a weekly update the company provides clients. Bottom line is that they're trying to build this thing, but they want to sell it themselves, kind of like Tesla?
Like Tesla.
Yeah, direct sale.
Yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you what, they're getting pushed back like you wouldn't believe. So
they have to go through the Securities and Exchange
I
Commission.
don't know. I don't
Something
know
like that.
I don't know what they're going to do.
And it's Terra, right?
Terra's one of them.
Terra Bull.
And you said they were going to. The extended battery vehicle was coming first?
Dude, it's all electric. It's all jacked up. It's a big mess. Why even bother? No. Okay.
Maybe that's why they're pushing the dates out. They don't want to say no yet.
Yeah. No commitment.
I wouldn't put my money on that. Okay, finally. Goodbye, Carroll Shelby Way. Hello, Raptor Way and Navigator Way. Ford is scrubbing the name of legendary designer Carroll Shelby from two streets near its new headquarters as the automaker modernizes its mid-century engineering campus. The changes will happen in May when Ford plans to start converting its former product development center into labs, meeting space, Ford racing offices, and an employee fitness center. Construction scheduled to finish in 2029. Got to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Gift giving should be meaningful, and we have an idea. A hand-painted custom illustration of your car from one of the nation's leading artists. You've seen his work at car shows and on display at the Hemi Hideout. Now you can have an illustration or car poster customized for you, a friend, or loved one. Bill Seitz is a real car guy that speaks the language and will be happy to guide you through the process. No matter what the day, birthday, anniversary, or any day, an Autographics custom illustration adds an extra touch of class to any home. Call Bill today, 832-922-0963. That's 832-922-0963.
For this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, be sure and check us out online at InWheelTime.com. The In Wheel Time video coordinator is We Need More Jeff Zekin. For booking agent and video editor Mike Out of This World Mars and chief engineer David Ainsley, I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks to our weekly show contributors, Jeff Heitzman and George Skelton. We hope you join us again next week for our Dual City Studios, 10 to noon Central Time. Have yourself a great weekend. God bless. Take care. So long for now.